Georgia is the only state that offers a 100% state income tax credit in exchange for your contribution to eligible rural hospitals like Clinch Memorial. The Georgia Heart Tax Credit is a major source of funding for Clinch Memorial Hospital. So please, make your donation early and make sure that Clinch County gets its fair share of available funds. We've spoken to community leaders about the importance of supporting rural hospitals like Clinch Memorial.
Having a hospital is truly a quality of life issue. And if you're going to attract businesses and you're going to attract industry to these rural communities, you've got to have health care. You know, people want to be when they have emergencies with their families, whether it be a bee sting or you know, whatever it is that are things that can be easily treated. But if you're a long ways away from a hospital, can be deadly situations. And so it's vitally important to rural America, rural communities all across this country.
Clinch Memorial plays a vital part in our economic development for downtown and for Clinch County and Homerville. When businesses and industries, even individuals are looking to locate here, one of the main areas of concern that they have is, you know, do we have a thriving hospital? Do we have a thriving school system? Do we have a thriving downtown?
We have 275 employees here in Homerville. We work 24 hours, 5 days a week, so we have the potential to have an accident anytime during a 24-hour period. Having a hospital here is just more of a security blanket. Not to mention that it's just important to have the services available as well. If you look at my responsibility to so many employees, healthcare is top of the list of people's concerns. So I think for manufacturing to thrive, there has to be local healthcare.
Clinch Memorial is an excellent resource for us to bring new businesses in. It's a great way for us to be able to say, hey, we have a local healthcare provider that can meet so many of your needs. Relocating to Homerville, relocating to Clinch County is a great option for you because we have all the same things to offer that a large town does, just in a more downtown friendly environment.
You know, I'm pretty passionate about rural Georgia and rural America and the brain drain. We're losing so many of our good young people, you know. They go off to college and they don't come back, and so I'm very passionate about, for those of us that do go away and come back, that, you know, we try to create opportunities. And in order for those opportunities to exist, having access to health care is vitally important.
We have a really great program. It's through dual enrollment. The students take classes through Coastal Pines Technical College. And through that program, they are able to get their certified nurses assistants certification. But before they can earn that degree or certificate, they have to get clinical hours where they have hands-on experience working with patients. And they do that at our local hospital, Clinch Memorial Hospital, to where when they graduate from high school, they've got those job-ready skills that can gain them employment right away. And that's what some of our students do. And then some of them use that certificate as a building ground to get more advanced degrees in the medical field, and hopefully will come back to our community to work.
So the hospital, in connection with the school system, in connection with downtown, it's a very working relationship where they attain skills, and we want them to bring those skills back here. And the hospital is providing excellent job, you know, sources for folks in the medical field here.
And the hospital is certainly a big employer for our county. It's great that they're able to have the jobs here for our citizens and provide the services that they are able to do. It's just nice knowing that right here in Homerville, we're all very close in proximity. You don't have to drive 30 minutes to get to the nearest place that can provide you with those medical emergencies.
Since 2008, there have been 9 rural hospital closures in Georgia, an average of almost 1 every year. Insufficient capitalization, reduced funding, and loss of population are among the most important factors contributing to these closures. The communities which have lost their rural hospitals have lost jobs, healthcare options, and economic opportunity.
I'm Ashley Gowan. I am the Executive Director for the City of Folkestone and Charlton County Development Authority. Our hospital quit seeing patients in 2013. As you can probably see from the footage of what our hospital was, what it is now, you know, we had a wonderful facility here in the hospital. It was the security of knowing that if you had an emergency or you had an elderly family member that, you know, was not doing well, but they needed medical care and you wanted them close by. That was an advantage here because this was somewhere that you could bring them where you could come and see them every day. One thing that we've seen as economic development and improvements for our community, it has played a factor in us being able to recruit industries and businesses to our area.
You know, if we lost our hospital, you'd be looking at, I guess, 30 miles to the closest hospital.
No matter which way you go, north, south, east, west, it's going to take about 30 minutes to get there. And so that would be a hardship on many of our citizens. Both of our schools are within about 2 miles of the hospital, which is very, very helpful. We don't have medical emergencies, thankfully, a lot, but we do have them. If the hospital closed, I think it would really have a negative impact on our community.
First, our health care costs, being that we are self-insured, would skyrocket. If we were to locate somewhere else, if there were not a hospital there, we would not locate there. Again, getting back, I mean, we're in manufacturing. We're very safe, our processes are, but God forbid an accident to happen. I mean, we're talking about potentially lives lost if we don't get them care in a timely fashion.
When we start talking about you know, our older residents because of stroke and heart attack, you know, patients, it's incredible the work that they're able to do here quickly to help our residents, and it would be a devastation not to have that here.
I talk frequently to other superintendents in small systems, small towns that don't have hospitals, and they don't even have local doctors, medical providers. And when you don't have access to medical expertise in your community, those superintendents are like, gosh, I really wish I had that in my community. And so having the hospital here and our doctors is very, very helpful.
I think there are a lot of people who believe now that we all have cars and great modes of transportation that you don't need a hospital in your back door. I think that's probably the biggest lie that anybody can believe in. Oh, just close it, we don't need it. We have other things to help us in our community, but that's not true. The hospital in any community is the hub. And industry, school systems, businesses are actually the spokes from that. So the hospital is a feeder for economic diversity and improvement. So when you think about a hospital that no longer exists, first of all, there's going to be no new business, because that's the first thing the industry wants to know. What are your school systems like, and do you have a hospital? So you can forget about future growth and think about all the other people who are going to have to move away from your town if they lose their job at the hospital. Respiratory therapists, physicians, nurse practitioners, the people who work in dietary. When the hospital closes, that's a huge job loss, and Clinch Memorial Hospital employs about 150 people in this town. We've grown from 90 to 150 over the last 4 years, and so that has been a great economic driver for Clinch County. Can you imagine the negative impact even more if this hospital did not exist? So this would be another ghost town. This would be another town that died and no longer existed, and it would just be a sad place to drive through on your way from the coast over to Valdosta. This highway that runs right in front of the hospital, I think, is the most traveled highway in the state of Georgia. So it would be devastating for us to be a ghost town, for this town to close down.
Whether you're a returning donor or a first-time donor, applying for the Georgia Heart tax credit is quick and easy. To get started, you or your tax preparer can go to www.georgiaheart.org. The online application takes less than a minute to complete. The form requires basic information such as name, address, and social security number. You will be asked to fill in your contribution amount. This amount will vary depending on your projected Georgia state income tax liability and whether you're filing jointly or individually or for a corporation. You will also select your designated rural health organization. simply select Clinch Memorial Hospital in Homerville. Individual filers can earn a tax credit equal to 100% of the amount contributed, up to a limit of $5,000. Filers who are married and filing jointly can earn a tax credit of up to a limit of $10,000. If you are unsure of how much to contribute, please speak with your tax preparer or call our Chief Financial Officer at 912-470-2347 for access to additional information. The Georgia Heart Program also provides additional advantages to businesses who donate, as they can potentially take a business expense deduction in addition to earning the tax credit. A C Corporation can receive a Georgia income tax credit for up to 75% of its annual tax liability through this program. And when a C Corporation makes a payment to a charitable organization, like a rural hospital, and receives a corresponding state income tax credit, the IRS will treat the business as making an ordinary and necessary business payment for which it can also take a federal deduction. Effective in 2022, there is a brand new benefit for pass-through businesses, allowing a state and local income tax limit workaround. Georgia House Bill 149 allows your pass-through business to elect to pay state income taxes at the entity level, resulting in significant federal tax savings. The IRS will allow the entire amount of these state and local income taxes to be taken as a deduction in computing the electing entity's taxable income. House Bill 149 also provides that your pass-through business can now contribute up to 75% of its annual Georgia income tax liability to an eligible rural hospital during the first 6 months of the year, whereas the limit was previously $10,000. After making your donation, Georgia Heart handles the rest of the process, and approval takes about a week. You'll receive tax credit documentation for your tax filing. All of the program details are provided at georgiaheart.org.
The hospital's really turned around the last 4 years. The Georgia Heart tax credit that they did receive has been going towards facility improvements and offering of other services.
You're not making a donation, an extra donation. You're not paying extra taxes. You're just designating where those taxes go. And anytime we can designate that our taxes come back to Clinch County, that is a good thing.
I have to pay my taxes anyway, and why not reinvest in my own hospital, where I work and where so many of my friends are employed.
It's just instead of writing the check to the Georgia, tax revenue, you writing the check to the hospital through the Heart Program.
This is a simple little thing. State of Georgia gives us $60 million to rural hospitals every year. They say we don't need it. We want to give it to the rural hospitals to help you survive. All you have to do is reallocate whatever your tax liability to Georgia is to Clinch Memorial Hospital. And you can be a part of what we're doing.
It's pretty much a no-brainer if you live in rural Georgia and you support rural health care and you want your neighbors to have access, to high-quality health care. It's a no-brainer.
With the help of your tax-deductible donation, Clinch Memorial Hospital will continue to serve our community for years to come, with quality health care right here at home.
Don't just pay your taxes.
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 Invest your taxes.
Invest your taxes.
Invest your taxes.
Invest your taxes.
Friends, don't just pay your taxes, invest your taxes.